Tasslehoff Barefoot's heart sank down to the bottom of his green shoes and stayed there, refusing to be comforted. This was, without a doubt, the most boring place he'd ever seen in his entire existence. I talked to her. She wasn't in a very good mood right now. This can't be the afterlife, Tasslehoff said miserably. Yeah, I'm trying to help. This can't be right. There must be some mistake. Hey, wait a minute. I'm supposed to meet Flint here. That would be a good idea. Fizban said so, and Fizban may have been a bit muddled about other things, but he didn't sound muddled about that. Let's see, how did that go? There was a big tree, beautiful tree. So Flint would be my friend I did Amber Entertainment with. Our names combined was AMBR for, we called it Amber Entertainment, for Adam Mead, Ben Redding Group. Hey, there's a tree. There's the tree. So it seems like right here, I'd be talking about the great tree looming over Portland. If she takes the Yamhill Street, that represent changing. So it doesn't happen. In my dream, she came to me pregnant in this other spot where there was it was like before we, were ready. Maybe, I don't know. But, because we were supposed to wait until he built a house or whatever. Now, where did that come from? The Kender blinked in astonishment. Right ahead of him, where nothing had been just a moment before, he now saw a large tree. Not exactly my idea of a beautiful tree, Cass muttered, walking towards it. What? Noticing, as he did so, that the ground had developed a curious habit of trying to slide out from under his feet. What? But then Fizban had odd taste, and so, come to think of it, did Flint. And so, come to think of it, did Flint. The hell? That would mean Mormons are trying to change reality and say that her trees with somebody else? He drew nearer the tree, which was black, like everything else, and twisted and hunched over like a witch he'd seen once. It had no leaves on it. That thing been dead at least 100 years, Tass sniffed. If Flint thinks I'm going to spend my afterlife sitting under a dead tree with him, he's got another thing coming. Hey, I hate Flint. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be changing reality if I find somebody that she loves more. I'll just, point at his object and give him as much support as possible. But fact remains, this happens. She hasn't been able to see what's happened on my side. And I've been blocked from being able to share it with her. And that's a pretty messed up thing to do. Flint, where are you? Oh, there you are. Hey, he said, seeing a short, bearded figure sitting on the ground on the other side of the tree. Fizban told me I'd find you here. I bet you're surprised to see me. The Kender came round the tree and then stopped short. Say, he cried eagerly, you're not Flint. Who? Iraq? Iraq. That was a bartender in Portland. Tass staggered backwards as the dwarf who had been the master of the games in Istar suddenly turned his head and looked at him his blood run cold, an unusual sensation. He couldn't remember ever experiencing it before. But before he had time to enjoy it, the dwarf leapt to his feet and, with a vicious snarl, rushed at the kender. With a startled yelp, Tass swung his torch to keep Arak back, while with his other hand, he fumbled for a small knife he wore in his belt. Whoa. But just as he pulled the knife out, Arak vanished. The tree vanished. Once again, Tass found himself standing smack in the center of nothing beneath that firelit sky. "All right now," Tass said, a small quiver creeping into his voice, though he tried his best to hide it. "I don't think this is at all fun. It's miserable and horrible. And while Fizzband didn't exactly promise the afterlife would be one endless party, I'm certain he didn't have anything like this in mind." The kender slowly turned around, keeping his knife drawn and his torch held out in front of him. "I know I haven't been very religious." So the torch would represent her sharing what's going on. "I know she doesn't have a website, so it's not a staff." "I know I haven't been very religious," Tess added with a snuffle, looking out into the bleak landscape and trying to keep his feet on the weird ground. "But I thought I led a pretty good life, and I did defeat the Queen of Darkness." "Of course, I had some help." What would that represent? Winning a video game? He added, or it might represent being on the left side or a Democrat. Since she lives in Texas. I don't actually know what she is. He added, thinking that this might be a good time for honesty. "And I am a personal friend to Paladine. And in the name of her dark majesty," said a soft voice behind him, "what are you doing here?" Tasslehoff sprang 3 feet into the air in alarm, a sure sign that the kender was completely unnerved, and whirled around. There, where there hadn't been anyone standing a moment before, stood a figure that reminded him very much of the cleric of Paladine, Elliston. Only this figure wore black clerical robes instead of white around its neck. Instead of the medallion of Paladine, hung the medallion of the 5-headed dragon. Interesting. So that'd mean that he's poly and he's getting into drugs too much. Maybe. "Pardon me, sir," stammered Tass, "but I'm not at all sure what I'm doing here. I'm not at all sure where he is. To be perfectly truthful, and, oh, by the way, my name's Tasslehoff Burfoot." He extended his small hand politely. "What's yours?" But the figure, ignoring Kender's hand, threw back its black coal and took a step nearer. Tass was considerably startled to see long, iron-gray hair flow out from beneath the coal. Hair so long, in fact, that it would easily have touched the ground if it had not floated around the figure in a weird sort of way, as did the long gray beard that suddenly seemed to sprout out of the skull-like face. "So say, that's quite remarkable." Tass stuttered, his mouth dropping open. "How did you do that? I don't suppose you could tell me, but where did you say I was? You see?" The figure took another step nearer. "Hello." The figure took a step nearer, and while Tass certainly wasn't afraid of him, or it, whatever it was, the Kender found that he didn't want it, or him coming any closer for some reason. I'm dead, Tass continued, trying to back up only to find that for some unaccountable reason, something was blocking him. And by the way, indignation got the better of fear. Are you in charge around here? Because I don't think this death business is being handled at all well. I hurt, Tass said, glaring at the figure accusingly. My head hurts and my ribs. And then I had to walk all this way, coming up out of the basement of the temple. The basement of the temple? The figure stopped now, only inches from Tasslehoff, its gray hair floated as if stirred by a hot wind. What does that mean? Hair floated? Air within air? What does that mean? Is it open air? Stirred by hot wind? Rushing into air? Its eyes, Tass could see now, were the same red color as the sky. Reddy eyes. Its face gray with ash. Yes, Tass gulped. Besides everything else, the figure had a most horrible smell. I was following Lady Chrysania, and she was following Raceland. And Raceland. The figure spoke the name in a voice that made Tass's hair literally stand up on his head. Is that like saying Tass likes Raceland the best? Come with me. The figure's hand, a most peculiar-looking hand, closed over Tass's wrist. Ow! Squeaked Tass, as pain shot through his arm. You're hurting. But the figure paid no attention, closing its eyes, as though lost in deep concentration. It gripped the Kender tightly, and the ground around Tass began to shift and heave. Are they saying he's accusing her of being illegal or something? The Kender... She's not. The Kender gasped in wonder as the landscape itself took on a rapid fluid motion. We're not moving, Tass realized in awe. The ground is. Said Tass in a small voice. Where did you say I was? You are in the abyss, said the figure in a spectral tone. Oh dear, Tass said sorrowfully. I didn't think I was that bad. A tear trickled down his nose. So the abyss would actually be like watching me. Is it finally going to happen? I asked her to, and her sister, like, saw it was up and everything. So this is the abyss. I hope you don't mind me telling you that I'm frightfully disappointed in it. I always supposed the abyss would be a fascinating place. My channel, but so far it isn't. Not in the least. It's awfully boring and ugly. And I don't mean to be rude, but there is a most peculiar smell. I did just smoke a cigarette. I'm not wearing what I usually wear. Sniffling, he wiped his nose on his sleeve, too unhappy to reach for a pocket handkerchief. Too unhappy to cry? Where did you say we were going? You asked to see the person in charge, the figure said, and its skeletal hand closed over the medallion it wore around its neck. That would mean the person's checking out my website? The landscape changed. It was every city Tass had ever been in, it seemed, and yet none. Yeah, it might be losing. Like, what the hell? How could that be possible? The names? The places? It was familiar, yet he didn't recognize the thing. It was black, flat, lifeless, and yet teeming with life. I know, how's it possible? He couldn't see or hear anything, yet all around him was sound and motion. It didn't happen. Tasslehoff stared at the figure beside him, at the shifting plains beyond, and above and below him. Is she checking out Twitch TV? And the Kender was stricken dumb. For only the second time in his life. The first had been where he found Fizban alive, when the old man was supposed to have been recently dead. Tass couldn't speak a word. Interesting. Okay. Well, there's the next part. Very cool. Well, I guess that's it for now. I'm going to get ready and go out. I need to take a shower. Just get ready and go. Okay, bye-bye.